this week I've been testing out a full bag of equipment from Ben Hogan. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Ben Hogan, they're a brand who run in a unique way. Now, they offer a factory direct model, so this means you simply go on their website, order the kit you want and have it delivered straight to your door. Now, this allows them to cut out the middleman, meaning you still get the high quality products but for a fraction of the cost. But how do they then perform? So I've been using these clubs for a while now, and I've taken them out of the course, done a bit of practice, and it's kind of hard to know where to start because they all perform at such a high level. Now, for me personally, I would say the PTx Pro irons are probably my favourite, and there's numerous different reasons for this, but a big one is definitely the quality of the feel. You get a lot of feedback on your strike, and they're also really workable. I would say tech-wise, I was really impressed with kind of the centre of mass. This is linear throughout the set, so in your lower irons, it's giving you more of that option to bring the ball flight down a little bit, whereas in those longer irons where we need a little bit of help with the launch angle, it's going to help you just launch it a little bit higher. And I could definitely see this out on the course, varying through the set. Now, obviously this is really important because you don't hit a 9 iron the way you hit a 6 iron, so the tech in these is really going to help you bring out the benefits that you want with each of those kind of clubs. Another thing I really liked was the V-shaped sole. I felt I had really good turf interaction with this, especially off a wide variety of lies. Obviously this isn't very important and you're never always just going to be hitting these out of the fairway, so making sure you have good contact out of the rough is key as well. The club that surprised me the most was definitely the hybrid. This is very iron-like in shape, and typically this isn't something I really like. Just for me, a visual preference, I prefer something more rounded. But I actually found this performed really well, and another great thing about this is the adjustable weighting on the perimeter. So you can move these round and change them, so if you have a preferred ball flight, if you want to draw it or fade it, you can set these up to suit that shot shape. So I think that's great. It's not something we see in a hybrid as often as we see it in other clubs, so having that adjustability and really being able to dial in the shot shape you want is definitely a big bonus for this club. Now, if we look at woods, I checked out a forward and a driver in this range. So we've got them both in the GS53 model, and I think a big thing about these is just how well the styling is done. It's very classic, sleek and simple, which is definitely something I prefer. We've got a very clean top to both of the woods and just kind of simple detailing, which for me I really like on a driver. I think it just sits really great behind the golf ball. Now, the thing that impressed me most with both of these woods was just how easy they were to hit and to launch. I think for me, especially in a fairway wood, that's really important. You want something that you're easily going to know you can just get height on. A lot of people struggle with not being able to get that launch angle high enough with a fairway wood and then don't really get that optimum carry. So I think having something that's easy to launch is just going to make you more comfortable with that club and get you out and using it more and really seeing the benefit of that extra distance. Now, looking at the driver specifically, I've got this in the hazardous smoke shaft, and I really liked how this setup worked. It had a very stable ball flight. It was just very straight and very neutral, which is something that I really like to see. Obviously some drivers we get a more kind of draw or fade bias, but for me I like to stay quite neutral, and this whole setup provided that, and it was also very consistent. It felt very easy with both these clubs, just to give them a hit and have like a strong, reliable, consistent ball flight. Now, if you're someone who prefers kind of a certain shot shape, there is also the adjustability on the sleeve of this, so you can open and close the face and change the loft on this if you prefer to see a strong shot shape one way or the other. Now, if we move down to the bottom of the bag, I checked out two of the Equalizer wedges, so a 50 and a 56 degree. And for me, the big thing with these that I liked was on full shots, my kind of flight didn't get too balloony and up in the air. Sometimes that's a big problem with wedges and you just get that shot that's too high and spinny. Whereas with these, the ball flight was much lower and more penetrating, which is definitely something that's preferable, especially in the UK where it's quite windy a lot of the time and you wanted to control those shots into the green. Now, I also found they were really soft and the touch was really nice around the greens. This is something I prefer, and I found I could control the ball really well, whether it be chip shots or bunker shots. So I actually tested out all four of the putters that Ben Hogan have to offer, and for me a big thing about putters is the visual and how they look, and I think this is something that Ben Hogan have really nailed. I love the matte black finish on the club head. I think it sits really nicely. For me, I think it just works as a really nice visual cue. It looks great behind the golf ball. Now, there's 4 different head shapes in this, so 3 of them are more what I'd say traditional blade style, and then one's kind of your D-shaped putter. That was probably the one that I preferred the shape of the most. Each one has a slightly different neck bend. So the only negative I would say to these putters is the fact that there's 4 head shapes and each one has a different neck bend. So if you're after a certain neck bend or a certain head shape, the two might not match up. So this is the BHMO1. This was definitely the shape that I preferred, and I also really like this neck bend, so that was a double win for me. It was slightly longer than I would usually use, but I actually found that I rolled this really well. I really liked the precision milling on the face and the feel of this. I had a very consistent roll, and I would say both for pace putting and short putting, I found that this was really good. I also really like the fact that they're quite simple with their alignment cues. This still gives you a really great visual to the hole, but it's not overly busy, so I feel personally that helps me line up better. So I have to say at the start of this whole process I was a bit sceptical about kind of ordering the clubs online without maybe having a custom fitting. I wasn't really sure how it was going to work and if you were going to get that same kind of high quality product that you get when you're ordering through your pro shop. But I have to say all these clubs are of exceptional quality and also really high performers across the bag. Now obviously one downside of the kind of factory direct model is you're not buying it through your pro shop, so your pro shops probably don't have the clubs in for you to get custom fit. Now there are a few custom fitters across the UK, but there's only 3, so there might not be one near your house. You can have kind of an online fitting where you fill in kind of some forms relative to your club head speed, how far you hit certain clubs, and they will give you recommendations on what would be best for you. But another great feature that Ben Hogan offer, which I didn't really realise, was that you can actually demo their clubs for 2 weeks. So you can pay £25 and this just covers the delivery cost, and they will send you the set of clubs or whichever product you want to try out, and you can test it for 2 weeks. This is just a great feature, you know. I don't think people go out and test clubs enough before they buy them, and having the ability to take it to the range and practice or go out on the course with a club before you buy it is a really great additional feature. I think when you're ordering them online as well and you're not necessarily seeing them before or getting to test them at your range, this is a great way of making sure that you get the right setup for you. Across the board I would say the PTx Pro irons were definitely the standout for me, and you can get a full set of these from 4-iron through to pitch and wedge for £750. Now that's quite a significant discount compared to other full sets on the market, so if you're looking for high quality players equipment but at a slightly cheaper price, these are definitely some products to be looking into because I've been really impressed with the performance and the quality. Right, that's all for this week. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you all again soon.